They're not winning games. They're not winning games. They're going home tomorrow. Carolina. No, Carolina ain't going nowhere.
Stop.
Trash.
Stop.
It's
You're being
over.
blasphemous. Stop. That's enough.
Over.
That's enough.
They're not good.
No more. We're done. We're done. Blasphemy. You take that chain off.
Ooh.
You. Take that chain off.
Nah.
Okay, I see why. The coldest ones to do it. They icy. I see why. Get it? I see why they been sports fans since they was knee high. They got the same name, but it's spelled different. The only difference is the E and I. No matter if your team is losing. This ain't a dream, it's a movement. It ain't on TV, but it's easy to watch, man, just YouTube it. You got news, alerts, injuries, and big topics. If you thinking that first take is better, man, just stop it. From interviews and debating on who they think is the greatest. And when they arguing, you gotta pick a side. Now, which Kevin is your favorite? Look, rumor has it they have it all. Soccer goes to basketball, from the World Cup to March Madness, man. Who you think is gonna win it all? The best sports show on YouTube, but I'm telling y'all, man, I know, man, if Harriet Tubman was a sports fan, I bet she watched this show because it's underground. 2K, underground. Yeah. 2K, underground. 2K, underground. 2K, underground. 2K, underground. 2K, underground. 2K, underground. Hey, underground. 2K, 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 underground.
Oh, Lord have mercy. We're back. It's another episode of 2K Underground. It's me, Kevo. I'm with the one and only Pastor Kev&Kev. We're here to talk about the NBA draft. Not really talk about it. We're just going to predict our first round. It's going to go real simple. Kevin's going to do the odd number picks. I'm going to do the even number picks. It's kind of going to be a collaboration of our minds on what the first round is going to look like. For the record, it is June 20th, 4 o'clock p.m. The only trade that is anything is the Sixers and the Celtics trade that went on, that happened yesterday. So, we're not incorporating any trades and any other teams. We're just going right now off of June 20th, what teams need, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So, Kevin's a Lakers fan, so because he's a Lakers fan, we're not going to let him be biased by choosing who the Lakers pick at 2. So therefore, he's going to do the odd numbers, like I said. I'm going to do the even numbers, and we're going to go from there. So yes, that's us NFL draft. NBA draft. So Kevin, Philadelphia 76ers are on the clock with the first overall pick. We got.
For the first overall pick, 2017 NBA draft, Philadelphia 76ers will select Markelle Fultz out of Washington. That's what I got for the first pick.
Fair enough. On to the second one. I was I was kind of up and down, but I do think that at the end of the day, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to select Mr. Lonzo Ball at number 2, 6'6" point guard at UCLA.
Going on number 3, starts on the clock. They trade back. Went back and forth for this a lot. But I'm going to surprise a lot of people right now. I'm going to take Jason Tatum from Duke. Give him a scoring lead instead of a defensive lead. Because you see in the playoffs, they needed scoring when Isaiah Thomas got hurt. And Jason Tatum is the right guy to do it. So I got Tatum.
Well, that is very interesting. Because Phoenix at 4, now Phoenix needs a point guard. Now they really need everything but a shooting guard. But now they've got Josh Jackson on the board. They've got De'Aaron Fox on the board. And in my opinion, this is where it gets really interesting. I think that Phoenix is going to take De'Aaron Fox at 4. I think a point guard is really like what they're aiming for right now. So I think they're going to take De'Aaron Fox at 4. Ooh.
The Kentucky Suns.
Yeah, right.
For the 5th pick, Sacramento Kings, They need a point guard. They need a shooting guard. Not really. Got everybody here. They're small forward. They need power forward and center. But I'm going to go with, because he's following right now, we're going to select Josh Jackson from Kansas to the Sacramento Kings.
Yep, that seems easy enough. With the 6th pick, Orlando, they're looking at what? Vucevic, Aaron Gordon, don't really have a 3, don't really have a 2 at this point, don't really have a 1 either. They really struggling. I'm going to go with Jonathan Isaac, the 6'10", small forward / power forward for Florida State. Huge. That's a huge mismatch. I'm going to go with him at number, for Orlando at number 6.
That's a great pick. Woo! Now I'm Timberwolves, and then I'm sweating a little bit because 2 of my guys I wanted are off my board. But Timberwolves, you had Chris Dunn last year, so getting Dennis Smith Jr. wouldn't make really much sense here. They needed a big wing, in my opinion, with Tatum or Josh Jackson or even Isaac. So with this pick, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go with a mismatch. I'm going to go with scoring, because that's what they're going to need to move Wiggins to the 3. And Towns or even Levine can make. You know what? I'm going to take Markkanen from Arizona. That's what I'm going to go with. Markkanen.
Wow.
That's what I'm going right there at 7.
Wow.
I'm taking Markkanen because Cannon Markkanen at power forward and center is going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
That's huge. Wow. Okay, so there goes Markkanen, who I thought was going at 8. So now we're going to go 8 New York Knicks. We're looking at one of 2 people, either Dennis Smith Jr. or Malik Monk is what I'm looking at for the Knicks. Triangle offense that Phil Jackson wants to run. Malik Monk, Kobe, Jordan. It all just kind of makes sense. Scoring guards don't really seem to gel well in the triangle offense. So therefore, as I talk it out, it seems to make more and more sense. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and go New York Knicks draft select Malik Monk, shooting guard out of Kentucky, with the 8th overall pick.
All right, so when you're the Mavs, I would have took either one. I would have took Malik Monk or Dennis Smith Jr. And also coming into play would be France point guard. I can't really say his last name like that. Natilikini. That's what I say his name like that. Dallas actually has been in his camp a lot, talking to him a lot. So with that pick, I'm going to go Natilikini from France with the Dallas Mavericks. 6'5" point guard.
All right. And with the 10th pick, we're back to the Kings again, who again don't have really anything except a shooting guard.
And then they have Josh Jackson.
Was Josh Jackson. So the Kings adds small forward. So now we're looking, and I'm thinking, all right, I mean, point guard is very necessary at this point. So I'm going to say Dennis Smith goes to Sacramento with 10. Because
that's perfect.
So I'm going to Dennis Smith at 10.
All right, New Orleans, not New Orleans, Charlotte Hornets. All right, so to me, I think their best pick at 11 would hope for Markkanen from Arizona to fall. Since he's gone now, you have a range of guys that I like. I think I'm going to take. They need perimeter shooting. Also, I don't think they like Cody Zeller and Frank Kaminsky. They're not in love with them guys. So you got guys like Zach Collins and John Collins are coming to play for me as well. And I think at 11, I think I'm going to take Zach Collins from Gonzaga. 7-footer, can stretch the floor. That's what they need to stretch for. And, and open up the court for Kemba Walker to do more damage.
Right. And he's a rim protector as well. Some good pick for Charlotte at 11. At 12, Detroit. could also use some perimeter shooting. They got Caldwell Pope. I'm not really a huge fan of how they use Tobias Harris and Marcus Moore, or whichever Morris they have, Markieff Morris. I think they kind of both play the same position. So I'm going to go with Luke Kennard at 12, which may be kind of high for Luke Kennard, but 6'6" shooting guard. So he's got the size of Kobe. He's got the, he's a right-handed kid that plays left-handed, and so you already know left-handed people are a mess to deal with.
Yeah.
So I like Luke Kennard at 12 for Detroit. I think he could be a really good player for them.
And with that, I guess we're gonna recap what we did between 1 through 12. Then we'll come back, start with Denver Nuggets.
But I ain't talking video game, but this 2K is going underground like the New York Trail. Okay, you got Kevin, 2K. Okay, I see why the coldest ones to do it.
All right, we back. Right. Here we go, Kevin's. We right back at it. Pick 13, Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets back on the clock. We're on the clock the first time tonight. You got a good young star in Jokic, but what they need is athleticism, and I think Kid Free is out of here. So with that saying that, I think they're going to go John Collins from Wake Forest. He can play power forward or center. Jokic plays power forward center, so the versatility right there. John Collins.
John Collins reminds me a lot of like Jared Sullinger. That should be interesting. With the 14th pick, Miami Heat. Justice Winslow is an all right player. They got Whiteside and Dragic. Those are the only two players who I think are solid at their position. Winslow is still jury's still out on Justice Winslow, but perimeter shooting is a must in this league, and Justice Winslow definitely does not have that. So with the 14th pick, I believe that the Miami Heat are going to select Justin Jackson, the 6'8" small forward from University of North Carolina.
All right, so Blazers. My first of many picks. I have Big Dame. I have CJ McCollum. Outside of those two, I guess I got Nurkic. He's up and coming. We'll see what he's gonna do. But outside of those two, Evan Turner, Alan Crabb, I spent money on them for no reason, honestly. So with that being said, I need a wing. If I'm not getting Paul George, I'm not getting Melo. I'm gonna take a risk. He's still recovering from an ACL injury. I'm gonna go with OG from Indiana. Athleticism. When I watch his tape, boy just dunks on everybody. So having him as a wing with Big Dame and CJ McCollum, that'll go a long way for them.
With the Bulls at 16, I think that the Bulls' biggest problem is they don't have. I don't like how their inside is set up with Taj Gibson. I don't really like. I like Lopez is just a solid, just be there kind of guy. But like, I'm gonna do something that is probably not expected. I think that the Bulls are gonna take Bam Adebayo from Kentucky at 16. A lot of people feel like he's gonna go.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
But I really think that he could be a nice pick for the Bulls there at 16.
The Bulls need athleticism. That's what she's saying. I can see that. All right, Milwaukee Bucks. Greek Freak, Chris Middleton, Jabari Parker, Thon Maker. That's a good forward. They really need a point guard, in my opinion. But because Brogdon can play point guard, but he's really a shooting guard. We know that. There's no point guard on the board at this time. I think it's a little too high for any point guard right now. So they could use a center because Thon Maker could play power forward, and because Jabari Parker's history of injuries, him being out almost every season, and the fact that they need perimeter shooting as well, I think with this pick, you can go a lot of places. Jared Allen, Justin Patton. I'm going to surprise a lot of people for this pick right here. I'm going to go T.J. Leaf from UCLA. Get you a nice three-point shooter that can actually play and can rebound. And you slide right in there with that long as with the Bucks. They all long, so can't get anybody short over there. So T.J. Leaf.
Yeah. if TJ Leaf didn't go to Milwaukee at 17, he was most definitely going to Indiana at 18. However, you know, I think that Indiana also needs to go ahead and try to find Thaddeus Young is okay. Paul George is there. I mean, they really could use a shooting guard, but I don't like the shooting guards who really are available outside of Malik Monk in this draft class. So therefore, we're gonna go power forward. We're gonna go with someone who, you know, they got some size to them, got some athleticism as well. And I'm actually kind of torn between Kyle Kuzma from Utah or Ivan Rabb from California. I guess, I mean, 6'10 and 6'9, both power forward / center. Well, Kuzma doesn't really play center. Rabb can, I guess. But Kuzma's 225, Rabb's 220. It's really just a toss-up. It'd be a flip of a coin. And I'm gonna go with just because I know that Larry Bird's gone, but I know that Indiana wanted to go kind of on the run and gun tempo now. So they want to get out in transition, get fast breaks. So I'm gonna go with Ivan Rabb to Indiana at 18. Ivan Rabb from California.
That's a good pick. Because my surname and Ivan Rabb together could go down the floor. They're two versatile bigs. Atlanta Hawks. A lot of questions and concerns about Atlanta Hawks. I think their streak of multiple postseason comes to the end this year. Questions about Dwight Howard, but he's going to still be good. And Paul Millsap opting out. That leaves you with you're gonna need a big man. Because Bam is no longer there, TJ Leaf is gone off the board. And I think this is a little too high for the center from UCLA, Ike Bubu or something like that. I can't really pronounce his last name. So because you're the Hawks and because I don't think you're going to win this year, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to go with Harry Giles from Duke. So I'm going with that one.
That's interesting. Portland at 20. We're going to go back to, so when they picked at 15, they got OG, the small forward / power forward, right? That was OG at 15. I still also think they need a power forward as well, but TJ Leaf not being there anymore, Ivan Rabb not being there anymore, kind of puts me in that I'm looking at, we're looking now at Jordan Bell. We're looking at my man from Utah, Kyle Kuzma again. So I'm thinking those two could be vital pieces. But I also like this guy that snuck up on me who I think that they may or may not take is that Isaiah Hartenstein from Germany. Now, 20 is very high, but I'm going to go ahead and say Isaiah Hartenstein from Germany, 7-foot power forward for Portland.
I like that. I like it.
20.
He's a good, people don't really know about him, but he's a good scorer down there and a long 7-foot power forward. That's, he's international, so he can run, he can really put a ball on the floor. So here we are with the Thunder, and we know why they lost in the playoffs. One-man show. It's a team that needs a lot of perimeter scoring, and I think they're going to lose Andre Roberson in free agency because he costs too much and he can't make free throws. Anyway, when the Rockets did that, I knew Thunder didn't go and let him go. So I have 3 guys on the board at small forward for Thunder: Terrence Ferguson, Donovan Mitchell, and Devin Robinson. We don't know that much about Terrence Ferguson because he took the overseas route instead of going to college at Arizona, which he chose to. I'm going because I don't really know Oladipo really the guy because I thought him come over here he's going to get 20 plus. So I'm going to take a athletic approach, keep somebody like Oladipo athleticism and a better shooter than Oladipo. So I'm going to take Donovan Mitchell from Louisville.
Donovan Mitchell can also play point guard because he's only 6'2", so he
Oh,
can handle
6'2",
the rock
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. And that was Oklahoma City at 21, which gets us to 22 at Brooklyn, and Brooklyn just needs everybody.
Whew. Everybody.
But you mentioned him as well, and I think that Brooklyn is going to be happy that he was not taken. And I'm going to say that Terrence Ferguson will end up in Brooklyn at 22. Outside of Brook Lopez, I don't even know what that roster is looking like, to be honest. I just know that they need help. Bad. So we're going to go. So I'm going to say Terrence Ferguson to Brooklyn at 22. And before we go on to 23 through 30, we're just going to go ahead and do the quick recap of picks 12 to 22 or 13 to 22 right now for you guys, just real quick.
Alerts, injuries, and big topics. If you think it, that first take is better, man, just stop it. From interviews and debating on who they think is the greatest, and when they argue.
Yeah, 23.
Here we go. All right, here we go. We're back again. We are at pick number 23. Toronto Raptors.
All right, Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry probably not coming back. They need a point guard, but might be still too high for a point guard, in my opinion. If he wasn't getting the top 5 point guards in this draft, then you want to be SOL the first round. I think they're going to get, he fell in this draft, as you can tell, still on the board, and that's Justin Patton from Creighton. Yes, I know they have Valanciunas there, but Patton's he's younger than Valanciunas by maybe at least 8-9 years. So he can develop and he can start right. He can start soon enough. I feel like the roster gonna blow up anyway eventually. So Justin Patton.
Utah at 24. This one might be a little interesting. I think that Utah, because they can't wait for him at 30, I think Utah is going to draft Frank Jackson at 24. Point guard out of Duke. 6'3" point guard out of Duke. I don't think that George Hill's coming back because I don't think Gordon Hayward's coming back. And so I think that Frank Jackson will be the guy that they pick at 24.
Okay, Orlando's back on the clock. You remember in the draft, we had them getting Jonathan Isaac from Florida State. So you have a 3 or 4 shooter and mismatch. I think he'll be a really great player. So now you can either go point guard right here or like Jawan Evans maybe from Oklahoma State, or you can think about another person who's falling in the draft, that's Jared Allen. And that's what I'm going to select with Orlando, and that will get you get Jared Allen. That makes Biyombo, Vucevic, and Serge Ibaka not even, like I'm saying, one can go because they're overpriced anyway, and they're not even doing that much. So Jared Allen would be a good fit. He can play right away.
That was Orlando, 25.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. 26. Portland. I'm going with Caleb Swanigan for Portland from Purdue. Caleb Swanigan at 26. So which means, just a quick recap, Portland has now gotten OG at 15. What's his name? Wow. At 20.
Yeah, at 20. You got to get Hartenstein from Germany.
The 7-footer Hartenstein from Germany, and then Caleb Swanigan at 26. I think that Portland can make some pretty good moves in the bottom half of this first round.
All right, so now we're back to the Nets, who we had them taking Ferguson earlier in the draft at 22. They're back on the clock, and like I said, they need everything. So they only took care of one part of that draft. And Terrence Ferguson at the 2. And I'm going to put somebody at the 1 next to him as well, so they can have them a little young duo. And I'm going with Jawan Evans out of Oklahoma State.
I like that pick as well. It should be interesting to see what he does. He's only 6 foot, but it should be interesting. Lakers.
He's pretty good, man.
Lakers at 28. It's been my impression that the Lakers want shooting and perimeter defense. So I think that they're going to draft someone who I don't think many people talk about, but I think he's going to be a good player in the league. 6'5" shooting guard from Villanova, Josh Hart at 28. I think that I don't know what I said. I think they're going to bring some defense into this lineup because there's not that much defense in this lineup. If they get Lonzo Ball, there's still not that much defense in this lineup. But I like Josh Hart. He's got great size, 6'5" shooting guard, great size to defend the perimeter.
I like Josh Hart. Champion caliber in this, so he know how to get done to win, and he use all the wins we can in LA. I like that. So now we're San Antonio. San Antonio, they have a lot of options they can go because Paul Gasol opted out today. That's one thing. Two, we know Jonathan Simmons when he's in the playoffs, he's gonna attract like a lot of suitors for him. So he might be a little overpriced for San Antonio, especially when we try to get Chris Paul. And Murray shows some flashes. So I don't want to waste a pick on getting a point guard here because if you Chris Paul, there's no really room because he's going to get 30 minutes. So there's no really room for a point guard and Murray's still developing. So in my opinion, that takes out PJ Dozier, and then Frank Jackson already went earlier. I did like DJ Wilson from Michigan, but I'm gonna take a big man here. I'm gonna take your guy, Tony Bradley from North Carolina. You get young at center because Dedman is gonna leave. There's no way because Dedman's gonna ask for a lot of money too. He played really well in his first system. So you need somebody, Paul Gasol, 36 plus. And LaMarcus Aldridge's reason why he chose Spurs in the first place is because he wanted a center next to him because he can't guard nobody. So you get Tony Bradley, a 20-year-old big man who, he probably have to, go D-League for a little while, but Tony Bradley could be a good play for us.
And then lastly, Utah Jazz again with the 30th pick. I was looking and I was thinking, you know what? I think the Jazz, the whole Derek Favors thing was great. Derek Favors kind of was at his peak when Alex Jefferson was there. I think that now that Derek Favors is just kind of a role player that they're probably not afraid to get rid of when the time comes. So we're looking at a replacement. And I think that, however, Derek Favors is still very young. Derek Favors is not old. And so I think that by the time that time comes, I think that the Jazz would give a good consideration. I think they're going to pick Ike, the center, I can't say his last name, from UCLA, 6'10". Now, a couple other players they probably could have picked. Kyle Kuzma never got drafted in this first round. Well, we'll talk about people who didn't get drafted in the next quarter. So I'm going with Ike, the freshman, mainly because he was a freshman, the freshman center out of UCLA. And so that concludes our first round. We'll be back in a couple minutes with quarter number 4. Let's go ahead and recap picks 23 through 30. All right, here we are. So that's our draft. We've recapped the draft. Winners and losers of the draft. Winners. A winner that, in my opinion, the Sacramento Kings. They drafted. We have them drafting Josh Jackson and Dennis Smith. Those are two athletic players. They're going to come out there in Sacramento. They're going to run and gun. You still got Cauley Stein. You know how athletic he is over there in Sacramento. And they got Buddy Hield. It's going to take some time. They're not just going to come up and make the playoffs. But I definitely think that in this draft scenario that we have, Sacramento definitely was a winner in this first round. They're in a pretty solid position with what we predicted. And then
I got a loser team going to go to Brooklyn Nets. Yes, they got Terrence Ferguson, and we did get Juwan as a good point guard, but you should be having Markelle Fultz. You should be having Jason Tatum or Lonzo Ball, but you want to be. You think y'all were cheating the system or whatever, getting Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. You traded everything away, and because of that you lose because you should be top 5 pick with these.
And the funny thing is, the Nets are going to lose next year's draft too.
Right. So you're not getting about next year. You lose next year too, automatically. Going back to winners though for a player, I'm going to say Jason Tatum, and that's because he's going to the playoffs. He's on a contending team, and I think his talent is good enough to where he's getting more minutes than Jaylen Brown. And he'd be more in the interior was here. So he's going to get more than the rookies that already been on the team already, in my opinion, because he's a scoring. And when Isaiah Thomas go out the game, you can count on Jason Tatum to go get a bucket. As long as, Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James, he'd be fine. And I think Tatum might do damage in Boston from our draft in Boston. Yeah.
Jason Tatum got drafted to a good situation. Someone who did not get drafted to a good situation, unfortunately, is Kentucky's Malik Monk. For him to be one of the more dynamic, one of the biggest, if not the best shot maker, especially clutch shot maker in this draft. New York is not where you want to be at 8. No. You'd rather go to Minnesota at 7. You'd rather go to Dallas at 9. You'd rather go anywhere else but New York. The trash, falling apart organization that New York is. That is not where you want to go. Malik Monk, sorry that that's just how the cards fell. I'm rooting for you, man. I really am.
Always.
Because now that you don't have to play against North Carolina anymore, but like if Malik Monk could go to Minnesota and be the shooting guard, they move Levine up to the point, get Rubio up out of there. They could do some damage, but it's just not gonna happen. Because I think they like Levine at shooting guard. He's averaging 20 points a game.
Right.
To go along with Wiggins 23 and Towns 23, it's a problem. Malik Monk, I'm sorry, but it's just not where you want to get drafted. It's like a player getting drafted to the Browns in football. It's just not where you want to be right now.
That's not what you want to do. It's like you're gonna lose years. Now he could because he's in New York. He might have a strong case to Rookie of the Year because there's nobody in front of him. According to Lee, there's nobody in front of him. So
yeah, that's true.
He could Rookie of the Year. But what is that? Rookie of the Year and you win 12 games. That's not because you got to think of another going to stay. July 1st haven't hit yet. So and now I'm talking about Porzingis going places. So he might be all there long. I don't know. We did leave a couple guys off from the first round. Couple local names. I like Kyle Kuzma a lot from Utah. I think he's going to be a great player wherever he end up. Jordan Bell, even if all he had to do was box out twice, his team would have been in the championship game. That's all he had to do was box out twice. But because of that, he can't go my program. I can't draft him. I can't draft him early. I can't draft him. No sir. I like Wesley Iwundu from Kansas State, great defender. And then another first round people talk about is Tyler London from Syracuse. Nice little shooter, small forward / power. Anybody do that?
DJ Wilson from Michigan talked about going first round. I don't really think he's a first rounder. He's kind of small. He's just kind of quirky. I don't really, I'm not really in love with him. But no, I think you hit it right on the money. And the draft is in 2 days, so I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 rounds of madness. But so that's it for 2K Underground. It's Kevo. That's Pastor Kev&Kev. I'm about to go play some 2K. So until next time, we'll see y'all. We love y'all, YouTube. Peace out.